Hello, and welcome to episode 74 of River's Arcade Review. My name is Ed. My channel is dedicated to the coin-operated video games of yesteryear. Today I'll be reviewing a favorite of mine, Marble Madness. Marble Madness was released in 1984 by Atari. My first time playing this game was at Western Trails Mini Golf and Arcade in Oak Lawn, Illinois. Marble Madness is a labyrinth game in which you control your colored marble with a trackball. You need to move your marble through a series of three-dimensional mazes. This game can be played with either one or two players. If you play with two players, both players will compete at the same time. Player 1 will use the blue trackball to control the blue marble, and player 2 will use the red trackball to control the red marble. This game consists of 6 races overall. If you play in two-player mode, there will be some added bonuses. If you are able to get ahead of the other player and advance to where they are off the top of the screen, they'll be moved to the screen that you were on with the 5-second penalty. Also, if both players finish the race, the winner will receive an extra 5 seconds for the next race. In addition, if one player runs out of time while the other finishes, players whose game has ended can buy in and play with the same amount of time as the player who finished. Something unique with this game is if you are playing alone, you can use either trackball to control your marble, or you can even use both trackballs to control it. You can use one trackball for horizontal and the other one for vertical control. Game will begin with your marble at the top of the structure of the practice race. You'll begin with 60 seconds on the clock. This race will give you a chance to learn how to control your marble and how the game's gravity works. This race will not have any enemies to contend with, so you can concentrate on making it through the race. The top part of the maze will only be wavy floors, so you need to make sure that you don't fall off the platform because you will lose precious time. Also, if you fall from too high of a distance, your marble will shatter and a broom will come out and sweep up the pieces, and your marble will return in about 4 seconds. Once you reach the bottom portion of the maze, there will be a channel that will help guide your marble to the goal. Once you reach the goal, you will earn 100 points for each second remaining on the clock. You will also earn 1,000 points for finishing the race. You can also earn bonus points in this round. Each turn in the final channel will have high banking. You can use this banking to jump across the gap of the maze. Just past the gap, there are the numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you can land on any of these numbers, you'll earn 1,000 points multiplied by the number you landed on. For example, if you land on the 3, you'll earn 3,000 points. The next round is the beginner race. You'll be given 65 seconds to complete this race. Just like the previous race, you will begin at the top of the structure, although you will now have to deal with enemies. The first enemy you will deal with is the black marble. This marble has a mind of its own and will attempt to knock you off the structure. Although you can turn the tables and knock the black marble off the structure and earn 1,000 points. On the middle section of the structure, you will come across green snake-like creatures called marble munchers. These enemies need to be avoided because if you contact one, you'll be stunned, giving the munchers time to jump over your marble and eat it. Although it is possible to get away when the munchers jump to eat you, these enemies cannot be destroyed. The last section of the structure will be a section of glass tiles that will have a large dip toward the center of it. While your marble is on these glass tiles, you will not be able to change direction due to the lack of friction because both marble and the floor are made of glass, so you're at the mercy of gravity until you return to the regular tiles. Shortly after the glass tiles will be the goal. Entering the goal will end the race and you will once again receive 100 points per second on the clock, and you will earn 2,000 points for completing this race. After beating the beginner race, you will advance to the intermediate race. Time to complete the race will be 45 seconds in addition to whatever time you had left on the clock at the end of the beginner race. You will begin this race at the top of the platform that has a ramp that will lead to the maze portion of the platform. You need to be careful when going down the ramp because you can fall off, costing you time. Also, you need to control your marble as it goes through the maze portion. It will bounce back when it hits the wall, slowing you down and costing you precious time. After exiting the maze portion, you will come across more marble munchers. This section is maze themed, although you will be maneuvering on the top portion and you can fall off, costing you precious seconds. After leaving the maze section, you will face a new enemy, the acid puddles. These green puddles will move randomly around the floor. If you contact one of these puddles, your marble will melt and disappear and will reappear about 2 seconds later. There are also 2 raised sections in this area that will be safe harbor, although you don't want to stay on these too long because you are racing the clock. Once you pass the acid puddles, you need to guide your marble into a funnel which will transfer you downward to another ramped maze section of the platform. Once you make your way through these ramps and maze floors, you will see the goal. Entering the goal will end the race and you will be awarded 3,000 points for finishing and 100 points per second left on the clock. The next round is the aerial race. You will receive 40 extra seconds added to the time you've had from the previous race. This race begins with your marble on top of another platform, although this time it is sloped downward and your marble will be launched off the end of the ramp, so you need to be ready to control the marble as it lands or it will fly off the end of the platform. You will need once again to maneuver through the mazes on top of the playfield, so you need to keep your marble from falling off the edges. The first enemy you face on this round are the large horns. If your marble rolls too close to these horns, the sound waves will shatter your marble and they will be vacuumed in, although it will return in about 3 seconds. You need to travel on the furthest road to avoid being damaged by these horns. There are 3 horns in all that you need to avoid. After passing the horns, you need to roll down a sloped floor to another maze area that will lead you to a catapult. Landing your marble in the catapult will cause it to automatically be launched across the gap to a section being guarded by a black marble. If you are able to land on top of the marble, it will shatter and award you 1,000 points. After making it past that section, you will come across 3 sections with pistons rising up and down. These pistons will launch you either forward or backward, depending on where you are positioned when they pop upward. Once you clear that gap, you will have one smaller gap before the last set of maze walls. The last enemy you will face are 4 moving hammers that will block your way and knock you off the floor if they hit you. Once you pass the hammers, there is only a short distance before reaching the goal. You will earn 4,000 points for completing the maze and 100 points per second on the clock. After completing the aerial race, you will now face the silly race. This race will grant you 30 seconds plus whatever time is remaining on the clock from the previous race. The first message you receive will be, "Everything you know is wrong." This race will begin with your marble at the bottom of the playfield instead of the top. Unlike previous races, gravity is reversed and you will roll upward on the ramps instead of downward. Once you make it up the first set of ramps, you will come to a small pit with small versions of the black marbles, acid puddles, and marble munchers. Since everything is reversed on this race, these enemies will flee and you will be able to roll over and crush these enemies. Crushing each enemy will award you 500 points and add 3 seconds to the clock. After you leave the pit, you need to make your way toward an inverted funnel, and once you get under it, you'll be sucked into it and you will exit one of the 2 funnels at the top. Once you exit the funnel, you need to maneuver through a maze, although the floors are sloped, and once more, the gravity is backwards, so moving through this area is a bit tougher. The next enemy are small purple birds that will fly from right to left at an angle. Contacting one of these birds will shatter your marble. After getting past the birds, you need to go through some short mazes, then down to the final level, then you need to guide your marble to the goal. Entering the goal will earn you 5,000 points plus 100 points per second left on the clock. The 6th and final race is the ultimate race. You will be awarded 25 seconds to whatever time is remaining on the clock. The race begins at the top once again. You need to maneuver onto a raised portion of the first floor and launch from the end across the gap into a funnel. Entering the funnel will award you 2,000 points, and you will exit on either one of 2 tracks. During this race, you need to maneuver through different surfaces that will react differently. The first enemies you will face will be acid puddles or marble munchers, and the order you face them depends on which side you exit. After facing both enemies, you will need to maneuver through a narrow floor with either a dip or a bump on it, so you need to be careful. Once you get past the narrow floor, you will face a large glass floor with 4 posts that will bounce your marble around if you hit them. Just like before, you can't steer while rolling on the glass, so you need to make a straight shot through it. Past the glass floor is another black marble that can bounce you back into the glass area or off the playfield. Passing the glass floor will bring you to the moving maze. Just as it sounds, there will be a section of the maze that will disappear, so you need to carefully maneuver when the sections are in place. There are 4 moving portions with a solid piece in between them. If you fall off a moving maze portion, you'll be returned to the previous solid section. The last moving maze section will lead right to the goal. Once you enter the goal, you'll earn 20,000 points for finishing and 1,000 points per second left on the clock, although you will lose 1,000 points for each time you die during the game. I really enjoy playing this game and highly recommend playing it, especially if you can find it in an arcade setting, since emulators don't do the game justice unless you have an actual trackball. I like this game more than Satan's Hollow, but not as much as Donkey Kong, so Marble Madness rolls into the 12th position overall. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any games you'd like me to review, please leave a message below or on my homepage. Please remember to hit like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned to new videos every Wednesday and Sunday.